live shows. So I have moved down to this section of my painting. It's actually kind of done down here. I just wanted to clean up these areas really quick. I was taking a study of everything I created on here in my painting last night and started adding another layer of tiny little hidden things. But I'm not ready yet to really go into those just until the painting's just about done. But I've started to get that wonderful creative streak going. So for now, I'm just working on this little area, and what I have to do is so tiny, is I'm going to try to make this comb, which is super tiny. There we go. This is as tall as I got my canvas. I guess I could go another 2 inches, but that's about it. And take a breath. Isn't that true? You gotta take a breath. All right, this is going to be a comb. And what's the problem with combs is you gotta make them all the same length. And the problem is when you try to make them the same length and then you cut across to take the ends off, they can, let's see, like smear over a little bit, so it could ruin your effect. So if we do it this way, let's see if it changes anything. Oh, this is gonna be difficult. This is gonna be hard. Whew, I can do it. I believe in myself. And no talking for a few seconds while I do it. Oh, hopefully this has the effect of a hair or a comb. Be like Brad Mondo and get a hair comb. It's very important, ladies. Get a home comb. I guess there's also a difference in hairbrushes. I did not know, but I noticed a video the other day, or a post, of somebody's hairbrush. They found it at the at a garage sale, and they said, "Oh, my hair! It makes a difference on combing your hair." And I'm like, "Really?" Okay, there we go. We did that. We did it! Hooray! And the show is over. The end. All right, we got our little thing out. We got to wipe this off, and we're going to keep continuing with it. Wow, that is a strong comb. Let's see, what else can we put in here to really just bring that dark colors out all around. Let's just add a little bit of dark right into this part because this is shadow. That'll help. And then let's add a top edge here, just for fun. The idea is so that, what idea is doing is we're just adding some darkness into that so that comb doesn't look so like, hey, here I am. What was I painting in the background over here? I don't know. I was going to paint a chair here, but I decided why put all my energy and effort into painting a chair there. It's a good question. Let me grab out one of my tools here and just pull this through. Hello, thanks for joining. Hello, Raphael. Hello, Vidya Dude. Thanks for joining, you guys. I am just going to try to get this area. Oh, I gotta make sure. So I did that comb, and then up here, I'm just gonna say it, I'm doing a pack of cigarettes because I'm from that era, and I feel like it's always important to remember eras in some way or the other. And I actually thought about putting a banana on here too, because of course, you know, the banana of art is also a thing. So anyway, I just thought I would do these little things here and put this little pack of smokes in. As I hold my breath. All right, and just getting it in there. And you know what? This is such a small, tiny little area of this painting. is so tiny here. Let's see. Okay, I gotta add that, and then I gotta add a line across there. Oh, it's coming. It's getting there. And it's at such a weird angle to me. It's so hard for me to actually just get in there and see it. I feel like I'm using a puppet to paint. Have you seen that video of the guy? He's really amazing. He uses a little puppet to make his paintings. Sometimes that's how I feel. I'm using a puppet to paint. All right, I'm gonna put a little V symbol, but there's a name for this exact chevron? A chevron symbol? I think that's what it is. It's not from Chevron, the gas company. That's the name of their symbol, right? Yeah, and Marlboro, I think, uses that symbol there. All right. Just had to get that in there really quick. And then put this little white piece of paper. I'm just going to put a little line under it. What else? And there's a pencil here, too. Oh, hold on. I feel like that little white piece of paper should be brighter, so we will do that. And I have to put some words down. Maybe we won't do that far. We won't get there. Let's go over and grab. I need to get some more white paint out. I guess. Let's pull back for a second. Pull back for a second. Find that white. Whew. I'm not liking how the camera makes me look today. I look not good. No. Some days, when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. All right. There we go. Let me find those brushes. They're just out of reach. Get those tiny little brushes that I end up using at the end of my painting all the time anyway. Tiniest brushes. End up with these tiny brushes. It doesn't matter how big the painting or mural is. I will always have a tiny brush out. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to put this on here. So I'm going to get the larger brush now that we can put that down and go. And let's come back in really close again. Really close to that area. And I'm just putting that paper in there. Oops, this is with a little crooked paper. Let's fix it as we go. Yeah. And I need a little walnut oil. That is very thick. And we're just going to lighten it up. It's a little fuzzy on that top edge. We'll have to fix that too. We'll have to fix it. Everything you got to fix. And here, because we have a little bit of sunlight here, I'm going to put a little white right in here and some special brush. There, that just adds a little bit of sunlight, just a tiny bit of sunlight right there. I guess we could do that over here too. Let's do a little bloop. Let's do it closer to the edge, like right there. Doop. Let's put that little. At this point in my painting, you cannot mess it up. This is, once you get to this point, I feel like it is easy going at the end here. It's just having to fix all these little things that you didn't finish to begin with, or little things that you're off on, or just finishing those great ideas that I once had when I started the painting and just never went back and finished it. Like the Humpty Dumpty. We are going to do him next. He needs a Humpty Dumpty cannon to sit on, and I just rough drafted him in when I did that a couple weeks ago. Was it that long ago already? I was watching one of my YouTubers I watch today. They're remodeling their house, and they were talking about one of the episodes, and they said it was 6 weeks ago, and I was like, what? It was that long ago already? We've already gone through that much time? All right, let me come down here and get that little line done and that little line done. Perfect. We have a little area on the top that I don't like, so let's fix that. This is oil paints. Oil paints, I'll show you. This is the giant oil paint thing I have for Payne's Gray. Go, and they usually come a lot smaller sizes, but like your whites, your ultramarine blues, and your burnt siennas are all going to come. Usually it's better just to buy them in the bulk sizes because those are the colors you'll use the most. Those are good base colors. If I had to choose, I'd say there are 5 colors I use the most in my paintings because they're most like real life colors. Burnt sienna, ultramarine, blue, dioxide purple, sap green, titanium white. I also have several reds, cadmium reds, light, medium, and I forgot what you call the top one. And then I have a couple other reds, but because I've done several really red paintings, and so had to go to the highs and lows for that. You got to get deep reds. Sometimes they'll buy a special paints for things, like I've had to buy like a lime green before, and that took the longest to dry, the lime green. I'm just messing with some right here real quick. Okay. And the lime green takes the longest to dry, as you can imagine. And but the sap green is expensive if you buy the right quality. If you're buying a cheap quality, it's not going to be very good. But if you buy the cheap quality, you can just add some dioxide purple to your sap green and make it a little bit better, more like sap green. I have noticed that the cheap sap green is just missing a little bit of that dioxide purple. I could be wrong, but I've just been doing this for so long, you just kind of think that that's how things go. It did for me, that's what I thought. Okay, so now we're going to add some lighter color here. So what I had originally done is just said, oh, I would like a pack of smokes there, but the paint is wet, so I'll have to just put, like I said, just sketch it in, and now I'm coming back and I'm putting those light colors on there because before I wouldn't take it. I'm going to put that light on there. All right, coming through. Chevron. That is the name of that symbol, I believe. I think after this I'll go look and see. In 12 more days, Lego and Crocs are releasing their Croc Lego shoes. I hope I can get, I've never a trendy person in that sense, but this is something I really would like. I really would like to have. To go with my bubble wrap suit, I think it would be perfect to have my Legos. I don't know, it's funny. Oh, I went to the art store the other day and never realized how expensive this stuff is. Oh, yeah, I know. That is why a lot of my stuff is from my grandmother, and why I was a recycled artist. I would get this stuff for free. So, Vidya Dude, if you want some art supplies, go on Craigslist, go on your Facebook group, and tell people what you're looking for. Just say, hey man, I'm really interested in art and I would like to, I don't have the money, it's expensive. Does anybody have any extra things? And you will definitely get some responses to that. That is how I began my career as a recycled artist. And once the stuff starts coming to you for free, then you're not going to know what to do with it all. So you're going to have to be prepared. And I had a rule as a recycled artist. Always say yes to anything free, never say no. You can always give it a new home, but once you say no to somebody, they will not ever ask you again to give you free stuff. So using that philosophy, you shouldn't have any problem finding your materials and supplies you need, or trading for it. There's always a way. I call it hustling. And when I was younger, in my 20s, I hustled a lot of art. and hustled a lot of free stuff and all kinds of things. So I had to come up with these rules, uh, because I noticed that if you say no, people are going to feel bad and they're not going to want to give it to you because they think you're not going to want it. The only thing I never took were TVs and like lawnmowers. That's a good example right there. And now I regret it because I would love to have a TV wall. Yeah, definitely. People out there will definitely help you. People will have boxes full of art supplies they don't know what to do with. And as soon as they read your post, and then they'll be like, yeah, yeah, definitely. So prepared to go, offer to go and pick everything up yourself too. Um, you've got to really work for it. Once I drove, now if you know anything about Washington State, I drove from Snohomish down to Puyallup once, quite a drive, just for a pack of free tape cassettes, a box of free tape cassettes. And at the time I was making tape cassette purses. And so, yeah, that was a great way to get those supplies. Yeah, people are willing to help, especially artists. They will go out of their way to help you. So don't you worry. You'll find the things that you need. And then another thing I do is speak it out loud. Like when I'm talking to people, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for, it'd be cool if I had this, that, and the other. And then they're like, cool, okay. They're not I'm not trying to get them to solve the problem. The idea is to get it out of your mouth into the air around you. For some reason, that works really well. I don't know why, but just saying something that you need can make a huge difference and come to you. So that's always been the philosophy I've worked on. And I always say, be careful what you ask for, too. Be careful what you ask for. All right, that looks pretty good there. What was I going to do next? Humpty Dumpty. Let's do a little Humpty Dumpty. And he is going to be sitting on a cannon because that's what Humpty Dumpty was. A giant cannon. And it was a big round one, too. I looked it up. It's important if you're going to do anything history related to actually do a little research on it. Okay, how was I going to do this? I had this in my head how I was going to do this, but I think once you actually do it, it's a different thing. There was a little stand right there. There's a little stand right here. I think I went too far back with that line, and let's go like this. And I don't think that cannon was that long either, but we're just figuring it out. We're building it right now. Oh, gosh, there we go. We're building it now. There we go. This is why I need a cameraman. I thought about, like, should I talk to the local trade school where they do like a lot of camera work, and see about getting like an intern, but I don't even know how that would work. I need some intern advice, and me saying that out loud, it will pop up on my YouTube feed. That is for sure. Next thing you know, one of my gym bros is gonna have, you need an intern? This is how you get one. There's these little seminars for us business people to figure out how to do things and stuff. Yeah, it's like I said, I'd probably just end up feeding them delicious foods. If I had an intern, man, I bet you we'd get so much stuff done. But you'd have to do film batching, which is like in one day you do all your films. It's really hard to do this tiny because to get the details in there, yeah, I think I'm gonna let that sit, and then it will solidify a little better. Yeah, that's it. It'll solidify a little bit better, and then I can put a little bit more color in there. But let's get rid of the wall, and let's just add that little white. That looks good. Let's do this back and forth here. And I'm going to zoom back out really quick so it seems cool. I'm just, see, doop, 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 rub it on there like that. And just a little bit more. Okay. That will help us, and come back later and put some more highs and lows in there as I go. My canvas is super bouncy, and it's like, should I fix it now or just wait to the end? And I'll just wait to the end. But you know, I get so impatient about things like that I just want to do it right now. And you're like, oh, I want to make a video of it right now. All right. Hear that brush. Probably overworking it brush, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just going to do it. It's going to have a good time. All right. Perfect. Not, but perfect for me. You know, I actually, at one of the art stores I used to go to, I traded one of my sculptures for credit at the art store. And so I got a lot of supplies I needed at that time. So besides being recycle artists and getting a lot of supplies from that, I ended up getting like $1,500 worth of supplies at this art store. I could just pick out anytime I wanted. And so I was able to get a lot of cool things that I could use in the future. I think I got books, and I got mat cutters, and just you name it. I got a little bit of everything. There, I just wanted to whiten that up a little bit. That looks good. The can of peanuts is fine. I mean, I could like really work, but that's good enough. I'm just gonna done with the can of peanuts. And what is this line right here? This is doing this across as we go, just figuring it out as we go. Oh, I could put a dark line right there and get rid of that little spot. Maybe we should. Maybe we can. There we go. Perfect. I was reading that we might have already had our coldest part of the year here in Washington State, and it might just get warm. And I thought, well, that is odd not to have a very strong winter, but here we are. Snowmobiling is a lot, or snowmobiling or snow machining, depending where you live. There's a place not far from my house a lot of people go to, and I guess they got a ride this year. I like to go snowmobiling, but I don't have a snowmobile or one to use anymore, and it would be nice maybe in the future to go snowmobiling. Okay, so what I'm doing is, because of the splay out from the angles, I'm just looking to see if this one little section is making me mad, and it is. This tiny little area. Thank you, Ryder, so much for joining. It's one little area right there. Okay, done. There, okay. And then this section here, I was trying to put some filler of some kind right into this zone here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put another little bit of dark on there, just like across like that, and then like this down, and just add that little bit of darker. That'll look just fine. Very good. And then across. All right, looks good. And then one across here. It's not really supposed to represent anything. It's just more or less to be something there. Something there. feel like I've worked on this area so many times. Do I want to go ahead and do that? I'm going to back off from what I was going to do. Sometimes not everything needs what everything else has. You can just go ahead and leave it. All right, cleaned up that little spot there too. All right, let's go back out like that again. And where are we? Okay, I'm gonna leave him there for now. We'll get back to him later. Oh, we gotta get over here to the UFO base and clean up that. And that can make, okay. Oops, why are we crooked? I think it's this little thing here. There we go. Now this is the UFO area. So what I just really need to do is just put dark under here and some dark back here, the farthest spot, and that spot there. I'm gonna pull these down to underneath the UFO. I did try to put a little alien right there, but I mean, you can't even tell. And bring that black line down to there. Okay, I need, the problem with these paints, gray paints, is you have to stack them to get them to be dark. And so a lot of these areas should be darker, of course, but the paint's grade needs to be really stacked to make that work. There we go. And go around this alien dude. I mean, he doesn't even look like an alien. It's ridiculously too small. Oh, yeah, it's just not even gonna be able to be noticeable at all. Okay, step back a little bit. What I want to do, just do a little bit over here for a second. And then come in like this. And then I'm going to take that lighter color. Excuse me. I missed the spot. Brother bear. I do see I have a scrape right across here. I scraped my foot on this painting. I just noticed that. Where is that little mark? Right here. You may not see it, but I could see this huge scrape right across there from my foot. And that's why it's got to be really careful. What is in this building's window? Well, it depends on which one. This is all kinds of random stuff. I don't know if you've been here before. We got like a book, and we got a Illuminati triangle. Actually, it's funny as I'm wearing my YouTube shirt today, and I just noticed that. It's the same. And then, oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Can of peanuts, murals. There's all kinds of things in here. Random stuff. Let me get this little section in. And let's go across. Oh, I feel like that brush is too big to do that. Too big. All right, here we go. Got a droplet of turpenoid on the brush. Now, I'm at a weird angle, so it's really hard to see this for me getting painted. This is my UFO ship right here, coming out of the secret little base on top of the building. I don't know. It can't be that bright, but it could be. It could be. I'm going to think about it. There's the other UFO up here too. Let's get a little bit of bright lights in the windows. Yeah, that'll work really good. Perfect. Mwah. All right, now we got to figure out this part here, this little scuff. Let's get this scuff taken care of. This is at the end of the painting, so here I'm going through and just cleaning everything up. I did finish this section over here. When this piece of paper dries, I'm going to come in. When this tiny little bit, I'm looking at the video, I'm like, can you guys see that? When this tiny little piece of paper is dry, I'll come back in and I'll even go one more step and I'll put like it's writing on there. So I'll make it look like it's been written down. I see that it is crooked though. And I can also hear the chickens and they're being so loud today. Do I have to go look? Usually it's like you can hear cows crying. I mean, there's something wrong. If the cows are, but if the chickens are doing it, is it something wrong or are they just being... Hold on a second. That one was a weird one. There not be any foxes. No, they're okay. I think they're just thinking they're all special chickens. All right. We get about 5-6 eggs a day, and I don't eat eggs. So I've been giving an egg to my dog a day. You gotta cook it. She's liking that. But man, there's all these extra eggs. And I live way out in the country. Let's see. Yeah, and it, did I even put a picture of this yet? I don't think I put a picture yet on my page. So you can really start to see little sections that are being put together. Hold on one second. Let me reach in this one area. Chickens sound horrible. Are you guys all right out there? Okay, across. All right. So that's going to be fine. And then over here, I got to get to this one section. So let's just move back again. Yeah, I got the symbols and windows. Oh, so I did talk last night about how I wanted to put symbols. Where is it? Oh, it's way up here. Let's go all the way up to the top. I wanted to put symbols in one of the building's windows. And I said I was going to go ahead and do some of the transient symbols. And I was going to print it out, but I didn't. So I've got, this one means water is no good. Oh, I forgot what these are, and they're on my phone. And I really made a point to try to remember them last night. Boom! But they do have a meaning, and so I picked one specifically for these specific meanings, which I have forgotten already because I've woken up, and if you've heard me talking about waking up the next day, had plans the night before, and always forgetting what to do the next day. Well, that's me. That is definitely. So I did print it. I do have a copy of it somewhere, so I'll get to that point tomorrow, but I did have those symbols put there. And I felt like it was good. They were symbols that definitely represent a lot of society, I think. All right, that looks good. Let's see. Yeah, we've got, oh, just in this picture alone, we've got the swimming pool, the anvil, and then we got those symbols. We have this weird raised area, and then how this is weird out. I don't see, I did a lot of surreal style stuff in here. So you have this is step down, but behind here it's flat. I did things like that. The envelope, the toaster. This is an arrow going into like a bullseye sitting on a piece of log. And then this, this water tower, I ghosted out so it doesn't even look like it. And then I took this building here and I put it inside of this other building where it should be flat. There shouldn't be anything inside of there. So that's some of the weird little surreal things I'm doing. This is actually Dark Side of the Moon, because at the time I was listening to Pink Floyd. And when a lot of times when I'm listening to music, I'll write stuff down or I'll think of something, I'll write it. And as I was writing the dark side, these windows actually look like they said USA. So in a sense, Dark Side of the Moon is kind of behind this building, but it goes over to this part too. I thought that was really interesting. And then I just have a couple little things to do. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We even got over here the, where's the U-Band coffee? Where's my finger at? Oh, the U-Band coffee. I'm like, where are we? There's the U-Band coffee can. And then all kinds of stuff. We got the little owl down here, graffiti, and then off plane, off of how it should be in the sense. So those are just some of the things that I'm due to make that unusual. And then another thing is like there's all the windows here make a creature. So eye, mouth, hands, feet. So those are another little things. And this here is another example of something I need to come in and fix. And what that pretty much entails is, let me come in here and show you what I would do. Is some of these windows aren't right yet. That means I haven't finished it. So I need to make a gray color for those windows. Hold on, I'm over here manipulating the paint. Yes, do as I say, paint. And then what I'll come do is I'm gonna make these slats smaller. That's still too dark. But I'll make these slats smaller and clean these windows up. And it's only because when I first start, I make them perfect, but as I go, I become like really imperfect. So I don't, if I can't get the first go around, I know that I'll come back around a second time and I'll get it. Yeah, that's it. That is right. Okay, so that's just an example of something I'm going to try to do here and there a little bit, and then clean things up as I go. Or sometimes I don't even need to do this. It depends on how the rest of the painting is doing. If the rest of the painting feels good and everything is working out well, then I don't really feel like sometimes I need to go through and do a lot more damage control. So every time you come in, you're tightening it up. You're cleaning it better, more pristine, more realistic, better looking. And I think that you know, that's that's a lot of things you have to do is just work more on the paintings. All right, and come down like that. Very good. All right, so just another random examples. All right, I'm gonna move back for a second and look over here and see what that is. All right, oops, I pushed this button. And let me grab a new brush. And we're 37 minutes, we're doing pretty good. Been wanting to do daily videos for a really long time, but I just haven't been able to facilitate that. It's all about logistics. And so these live shows will actually be a good step towards that direction. I was doing weekly shows or weekly videos that were longer, but I'd like to do the shorts because that's every day. I work every day, and on my shorts, I can just show you what I'm doing really quick and then move on to the next project. Because I do lots of different types of art projects. If you've been on here, you've seen I've done murals for the museum. I made the flags for the museum. I make paintings. I make miniatures. You know, whatever can be done. Just a little off spot there. Now this paint's gray, will dark. I should put the Ghostbusters in there. Yeah, they would have been good in that firehouse building up there. It really would have. Put a little something in there. There we go. This Payne's Gray looks very dark, but it will dry the same as what you see. That's why I was talking about you have to kind of stack it up. If you really want it to get dark, you have to keep adding layers to it. All right, we got that scuff out, but just by putting more Payne's Gray over it. So my foot scuff is gone, except it does exist right here. You know, how far do I want to get into this? I guess we'll just keep going until I'm satisfied. There is no ending. Oh, I gotta make sure I stay within my rules that I have presented myself of colors. There we go. So I was talking yesterday about a movie that I seen in the 80s called Fortress. And I looked, and it is Rachel Ward, is the actress, it is right. And 1985, and it's not, you can't stream it off of any platform. So I had to order the movie, and it should be here in a few days. So I'm excited about that movie coming in. But yeah, you can't stream some movies. That'd be a great movie if they did release it out. I had an old VCR copy of the movie, and it was pretty worn. Like VCR tapes and tape cassettes and stuff, they actually do wear out, those tapes do. And I know because I've worn several movies and tapes out. In fact, when I made my tape cassette purses, they were of my favorite tapes. And this is on, and the reason I'm talking about my tape cassette purses is because that is one of my first videos on YouTube. And it got like over 1,000 or 100,000 views at the time. I mean, that was a big deal back then. Nowadays, you're lucky if you can get hundreds of views or something. And so, I did that video and made the tape cassette purses from my own tapes that I wore out. And I remember 10 years later, after that video came out, tape cassettes became really popular again. And people were like dissing my video. And I'm like, hey man, these are worn out. Like people got so offended. I always found that to be kind of funny. Just putting this dark in here. Gotta have some highs and lows, and sometimes you need a little bit more darks. And I just what I felt like yesterday, last night, I worked really hard on this painting. I changed 2 buildings and changed their colors. They were darker and I lightened them up so that they went along better with the design. So and we'll go over here like this, like that. We feel ball bat. All right, and pull that. Okay, so we're just doing a little this, that, and the other all around. Very good. We got the UFOs looking pretty good. I think they don't really need much more since they're so minimal. Do I really want to work out these windows out here, make them a little lighter? Let's do just a couple. So what I've been doing is not making them all the same lightness, but adding different degrees of lightness. Okay, hold on. So this one, I'll add that. Okay, that's good. And then down here, I'm going to add a little bit lighter tone to this one. Okay. You know what song has really been, like, I've noticed it's been hitting a lot of people's feeds lately, or I've been seeing, is that song Golden Brown? I was like, is it become popular again? It's like a 60s or 70s song. All right, I'm just cleaning up these little edges here because I noticed that I kept a black line here, but I don't need that. I don't know what I did. I'm gonna take it out. Just a little bit, it cleans up. And it's not like I need to do this to this section because once you really step back and look at everything, this stuff disappears. But if you don't do this, it doesn't disappear. So that's important, is as you're going, you see that, oh, I can put more time in this area. It will make a difference. But I really don't need to put it over here in this area because it won't make a big difference. So you can see, you can really change it up from here and there. I watched a good mystery movie yesterday, and it was a murder mystery, and it was like in the 60s or something. And this young girl they said that she was responsible for the death of this guy. Well, this guy she was dating, but he was abusive and stuff, and she told him to leave her alone, but he kept kind of coming back and destroying her house and stuff. So she had written a book and was going to go out of town for a week and, promote her book. And while she was gone, he died. Well, they immediately arrested her because she was a wild woman that lived in the woods. She was young, but her whole family abandoned her. And they all left her as a child. So she just took care of herself, and life changed. And life changed that she grew up and became a writer. So at the end of the movie, she's passed on, and her husband, who had known her since she was a child, um, he was going through her things. And by the way, she was acquitted of murder because she was out of town. She had proof that she was out of town. In fact, they were trying to say that she took the bus back to town, all the way to town, to kill this guy. But no, she didn't. Casey, no, she didn't. She said, how would someone do that? That's impossible. At the end of the movie, her husband is going through her things, and he finds the clue that she was the murderer. I was like, oh, well, snap, that was a good movie. I don't usually, I try to stay like certain types of movies. I like murder mysteries and stuff, but sometimes they're not very good, especially in this era. But that one was a good movie. It was something about crawfish. I think the name was something like that. I don't know. Just filling in my space by talking while I paint. Trying to get all these little lines cleaned up around here so this looks a little bit more crisp and clean. And then I'll come through. I did open up a little curtain right there. Can't be too light though. We have to stay within the perimeters of darkness. There we go. What's over here? That looks like it's off, and then we need to maybe put another curtain in here. All right. That looks okay. I'd love to copy that, but I know I couldn't afford it. Well, you know what? I usually just, if I do make prints, they're like 20 bucks. So I don't think they're very expensive. I always like to try to make things, I make so many different layers of art. There's always something affordable of everything that I do. But I don't have a lot of time to put into my sales. And that's been my issue forever as an artist is I could promote myself, I could do these other things, but then it doesn't leave me any time to create. And I only have so many hours in a day, and it takes 1 hour just to walk 3 miles. So you can see how my day is already starts getting chopped up, and I start to run out of time really fast. And I just can only make so many things. And I still have to have sleep, but I'm getting about 6 to 7 hours of sleep and then back at it again. I don't think I'm hitting it hard enough though, because I have to make more things. I just have this incredible desire to create. Yeah, that's all. And videos are fun to a point, but you can only create so much videos. You get kind of bored and tired of having to do stuff for social media all the time too. It's tiring. I have to take little breaks every so often, and just like I cannot do anything for a while. Like this week, I felt like, ugh, I still have to do these more things, and I'm just so tired. And then feel great again, and then back to it. So I would say when I feel like that, it's just because I need to take a break. That's all. A little break. Reset. Go outside, take a walk. Go into town, walk around. I don't know. Just things like that. All right. Yay! How can I show you my little water painting you did, Ryder? Yeah, how are you going to show it to me? I think you could show, if you're on TikTok, you can put a photo in one of my comments. I think that's one way. Or here, I don't know how they would do that here. I don't know if there's a tag, but I would love to see it. I would love to see it. That'd be cool if I could get my website where people could like send me stuff they wanted to show me and I could see it that way. That would be awesome. I always find these little gaps in technology that we could use that would really make it much better and easier to use. Sometimes I write them down. Or sometimes I just yell at my phone and tell my phone that's what I expect it to figure out, is it needs to learn these things. All right, let's get these across. This building, I didn't really put a lot of time and effort when I first built it, so I see. And then like here, these lines here, we need to put some dark lines in there. Let's get to it. Can I hand do it or should I use my instrument? I'm gonna use my hand. And you have to hold my breath when I do it too. I could just stop right there. See these over here too, they could use a darkening. As I said, you have to kind of stack this color up to get it to be really dark. And you gotta really manipulate with it. This is the 7th painting I've done like this in this style. All right. The 3 of them were Snohomish paintings, and they're very cool. I should pull those out next time I do a show, and I should show those paintings. Then I did 2 other New York City paintings, very cool looking. And then I did, what's the other one? Oh, I did an old time one of Montana, of the celebration of the 49ers, and it was off of one of my grandma's photos from 1939, and they were doing a celebration in Montana, Polson, Montana, of the 49ers, and they had everybody out in the streets with their wagons and horses. So I did that painting, and that's very cool too. It's hanging at my parents' house. Because you know, you can only have so many paintings in your own house. You got to start like passing them out to other people. Take care of this. I'm going to get around this water tower, and I'm just putting a black line around the bottom of the water tower like that. We're in the dark zone, so the darker the lines and more of them that we have, the better. You will change your profile pic. That's a good way to do it. And Ryder, you have to comment on one of my, on my latest painting, so I can go to you. So I can click on you. Yeah. So if you put any like little message or just like a little thumbs up on one of my past things, I'll see that, and then I can go ahead and see your stuff. Because right now your picture's too tiny. I cannot see anything. I also see here, this is really cloudy, and I really want this a little darker. And that could have been from the scuff of my foot that we talked about earlier. When this was down lower, I did scuff it with my foot. So I must be careful from here on out how I use my feet. in my paintings. All right. And we'll come across here, and I'm just going to get that line a little bit better. It's nice and crisp looking. So for dinner tonight, I figured I'm going to have Brenner. Breakfast for dinner tonight. So I took some bacon out and some sausage and maybe some hash browns. I don't know if I got hash browns. I don't really want to make them. It's no fun. And pancakes. That will be delicious for dinner tonight. We've had such fancy dinners all week. I mean, gosh. It's that or corn dogs. Just ate up the lasagna I made this weekend. I made several extra lasagnas and popped those in the freezer for someone who may need that in the future. Okay. Oh, you changed it to that paint because I can see the difference. I think in your picture, very tiny there, but it's awesome. I will definitely take a look at that. Yeah. I have been learning how to properly critique art, and that has been quite an eye-opener. I've had people ask me to critique their art before, and I've always said no, because I did not know what that entailed. So I decided to take it upon myself to learn a little bit about it so that if it ever pops up again, I have the tools to do it. And so I feel like I've done pretty good. And I thought about going to the local art gallery here in town. I think there's only one. And practicing my critiquing. So critiquing is telling people what you see and what they can do to improve it. It's not criticizing, and it's not judging to a point. I mean, yes, of course it is. But it is a fine line, and I think that certain people have that skill. But for people like me that maybe have not picked up that skill in their lives, it would be perfect to start to do that. There we go. That's it's a little too light. All right, we are almost at the hour. I can't believe it. Thanks you guys so much for joining. Let's take a step back and take a look at everything here. And let me get my lines in a little bit better. Oh boy. There we go. Perfect. And then down like that. And then over here. Perfect. All right. Come across like that and down like here. All right, perfect. I'm liking it. Nice, and over here. Since I got my new glasses, my neck has stopped hurting, which has been really nice, I must say. Much better. I'm not having to arch my neck and head funny to look at my painting anymore. All right, well, I can go through, like I said, and fix these areas up. I can leave them and say they're good enough. And that's pretty much what I've got to figure out as I go through today, is what's good, what's not. And I do have some windows to finish up top. But we did down there, and that's what's important. That's what matters, is I did that. Oh, these are really bad. Let's do this. Let's work on this today. I do have a hidden eyeball right there. Many years ago when I was doing artwork, I used to hide eyeballs. into my work, and for a while I did that, and then you do something else later on. Maybe you hide something else in there or do some other thing. So the eyeball kind of represents, I think, a good example. And then this is all shade, so I have to really do a lot of work to clean this up. Well, might as well start at the top and work our way down, and then I have to see if this is one of those windows which are like all the other windows. Are they split in half or in threes? See, this one's in threes. Let's say this one's in half. Because doing that is hard. But doing this, not so much. All right, hold on 2 seconds. Let's use up some of this paint here. And we'll use that to lighten up areas around my eyeball over here. Get that eyeball in, and let's go zoom to the eyeball at the bottom there. You can see it. And 2 seconds. Grab some. Let's get that rounded edge in the dark. Okay. Rounded edge. Oh, there's much better. Every time you do it, work with it, it'll get better and better. Or you just stop and say, wait, I think I'll let that dry a little bit before I do more. I'm just putting some lighter colors in, like little dot. And then that way I can come back through when that dries and add the little dark dots. We want to make that bigger. All right, it's been a fun live show. Thanks for joining. I should be back tomorrow at this time, unless, like, so happens, you know. It's how it always is. I have such a constant, I call it constantaneous life, where you're constantly spontaneous, where you don't know what's going to happen from day to day. That's kind of my jam. Constantaneous. I made that word up myself too. It means constantly spontaneous. It's kind of tiring when people are constantly spontaneous around you, so it's not always a positive. All right, good enough. Good enough. And I'm going to go through it today, and I'm going to work on this building, and I will get this done, and it will look beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching me painting my New York City painting. Have a great day. Bye.